Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? Jeez, it's been 2 months.
8,000 years.
And we dropped
Whoa.
one heck of lore bit on everybody at the
I've
end of
been
the last
fine.
one. You've been fine.
I have
You've
not
all right.
been chewing drywall and ripping my hair out. It's been fine.
Doing what to the
Yeah.
drywall, Zoe?
It's fine.
Giving it a munchy crunch?
Welcome to What's Left of Us, the actual play D&D show where a group of us get together and we just play a nice friendly game that is full of no problem whatsoever, and certainly no trauma for any of our characters. We as with any other D&D game or TTRPG, I'd like to remind you that everyone at the table here has given their consent for a whole list of stuff that goes on in the game here, but obviously some of you at home probably might be not comfy with some of the things we play through here, so if that ever happens, please take care of yourselves and dip out and come back in whenever you feel you need to. Don't stand on ceremony there. The show itself will go on for a little bit, but just after the show, we will have a table talk portion where you folks can send in your questions to us, and we will answer them in real time, and that will be hopefully the end of it. Our mods, pronouns my bio, Sam, is sitting right there in chat, and otherwise we'll answer your questions that are not pertaining to the show particularly, if it's something mechanical, and also keeping us all safe. So do not anger Sam. Sam will hit you with a big giant band hammer. I believe Sly will also be here, our other moderator, at some point today. So don't forget to check out. Both of our mods are also creators on their own right. So please don't forget to check out their links, which hopefully they'll be putting in chat whenever they can. Before we get into the rest of the show, you all might have noticed that Jinx's plate is missing from our roster, and that's because she decided to step away from the show. Her reasons are her own, and it was not a decision that was made easily. I know there are many of you who, like us, have grown very fond of Jinx and her character's story. So it makes sense that you'd all want specific answers, but we're going to need you to respect Jinx's privacy and our privacy in this. As for what happens to Maldris themselves, Jinx has left me some very specific instructions, and I have had to figure out how to mesh those with our story. So hopefully by the end of today, we'll see whether or not I was successful. I mean, that's really all there is to it. I can't say whether or not Maldris will make a return, but I'm not closing that door. And all of us here, I at least, but I hope all of us here sincerely hope that he decides to come back at some point. Until then, safe travels. We'll miss you. Okay. That was the last big update. Who remembers what happened last time?
Fucking plant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about that plant, man. I know we have Tim drama to deal with, but we are still being actively chased.
Tim drama? What Tim drama? Tim drama.
There's a little bit of Tim drama. I forgot. There was, due to some small miscommunication, I accidentally forgot to tell Poor Thoughts Slime that we were actually going forward this week. So Thoughts Slime is not here, and it's entirely my fault. I'm so sorry. Mildred will join us next time, and for now I will keep their character alive. During Pride Month, even. God.
Yeah, during Pride Month, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so listen, you have a rule that if someone has to miss a session, their character will not die. So all we have to do is just send Rathgirther out there to 1v1 this fucking plant because Rathgirther cannot die.
No, she has super plot armor right now.
Oh no,
Exactly.
we're metagaming.
Go Rathgirther, legendary hero! Be at that fucking play, you got this!
Mm-hmm,
Let the power of Pride Month flow through thee.
Yes, also happy Pride Month, everybody. We were just remarking that there's not a single straight person on this cast, and we were just like, yeah, kind of like
Look, I have
The
little
way it
rainbow
should be.
earrings. I don't know if
Rainbow
they even
earrings,
show
yeah.
up very well, but
Okay. So yes, you folks, having started with the end of the party's long rest at Emery's uncle's place deep in the high forest, Tim realized that she wasn't too far from one of the marked spots on the map of her parents' equipment, and decided to go check it out just in case.
and this was after she had an existential.
Yeah,
She experienced ego death.
there was some ego death involved. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, who could honestly, God, all the characters are thriving. The
Especially Rathgurther fighting that plant all by herself. Let's go.
yes, wild. Yeah.
It's just a permanent sanctuary buff. While Thought Slime is away, the Rathgurther shall slay.
Nobody's gonna come
Rathgurther
back and be
has
like, "Wow,
suddenly become-
Rathgurther performs way better when I'm not here." I'm just.
She
Yeah,
is now
Rathgurther
the
gets to
most
level up,
prolific fighter.
and the rest of us are still at level 6, and Rathgurther just gets to level up to level 7. She beat that plant monster all by herself.
Exactly. And Chad, no, I would never disrespect a character with a silly voice. Are you kidding me? I
Death,
would
death,
never do
murder,
that.
death, kill.
On the way to this site that is marked on Tim's map, you did indeed come across one of the many dangers of the high forest, proving that this place is not a place to just randomly tromp around in if you're unprepared. A giant carnivorous plant that reanimates corpses through some plant-like fungal means. And there was a fight, and it became very clear early on that it was easier to run, and so with this plant hot on your trail, you ran towards it until you came across a clearing with a very familiar tower. A half-built clock tower with its hands stuck and unmoving. And as Tim and the party entered, fearing that the plant monster was maybe only moments behind them, they're challenged by the small voice of a little gnome boy asking who they are and identifying himself as Henry Timtam, or Henry Butterball, pardon me.
Henry Timtam.
Henry Timtamacy Butterball the third Esquire.
Oh, Henry.
Oh, Henry.
Henry.
You sweet summer child. You don't know
Wait,
what the fuck
wait.
just
So
walked
there's
into
two
your house.
people that we could make candy bar jokes about now, because we got Tim
If
Tam
only
and
there were
O.
maybe
Henry.
like 8 or 9 more.
I know,
only.
I know.
If only.
Yeah.
All right. And so, folks, this is where we come to it. The party is all here, sitting in this area that looks very much like a rougher and more unfinished version. You can see that there are little sort of huts that have been built inside here. It seems like, as opposed to what Tim did when the Magnificent Mansion spell kind of collapsed, and she left, this young man stayed here and started building a little home for himself inside the tower. And that is where we begin.
How long do we think we have until the plant catches up with us?
It's hard for you all to tell. When you ran into this clearing, you could still hear it in the distance. However, Tim, you do recall that your compound had protections against animals and monsters.
Can somebody go keep watch to see if we're safe in here?
I'm already looking for stuff to shove in front of the door.
Yeah, there's plenty of
like
rubble.
a cabinet.
There's rubble, there's boxes, there's bits and pieces. Yeah, if you want to...
I'm already just... I've shut the door, and I'm just piling stuff in front of it. And it's like, maybe if I can't get in, it'll just leave.
Hey, can we move one of these huts over there? Is this like light enough for us to pick up?
The huts? No, I'm afraid not.
Pick up the
Bummer.
house and put it somewhere else.
Let's see here.
So-
Do I have like rubble somewhere? Sorry, you can continue. I'm just trying to find a good piece to just stick in front of the door.
What is, I guess before maybe I try and talk to this boy, what is his like demeanor? Can I do like a vibe check?
There we go.
Vibe check.
Yeah, vibe check.
Yeah, give me an insight roll. Give me an insight roll.
Ooh. That's a 6.
At the 6. Well, unfortunately, you are far too flustered.
Did you say Butterball? You're
Yeah.
Butterball?
Yeah. I know my parents are famous. Did you come across them, maybe?
Sparks, can you like scan him just to like check if he's like if we're like actually related?
Scanning. And Sparks like walks up to the boy and he goes, "Oh, it's some sort of clever robo dog. That's so cool." And Sparks like opens his mouth way too wide and like a small like little buzzing nodule comes out and it's like a wand or something and and he's like, "Oh, that's so cool. Does he need my blood? I can give it my blood." It's
No.
Well, I've given him my hand, but you know, I guess your blood would work too.
Don't do that again. I'm still stacking boxes.
No, this is my dog. I made him. I'm a sort of like a pretty substantial artificer in my own right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then after a few seconds, it's Sparks like pings like ping. Identity confirmed.
So okay, Henry, I'm Timtam Butterball, and I think we're related. And
No,
I was
Are
another
you
tower.
like a cousin? Is that
Sparks, what would you say the like blood relation is between us?
blood relation is 99.999999999999999999999.
Okay, thank you. So like twins?
Twin variance is typically in the 98th percentile.
Oh,
This dog is really well equipped. This is the coolest, and he's like gonna walk around the dog. Can you give me a perception check?
that's a 6 again.
No.
Unfortunately, Emery is a little busy, but Vernon, you could also make a perception check if you wish. As he's walking
Absolutely.
around
Let me
this
grab my
dog.
dice actually, because that would be helpful because this website hates me. So I'm just going to use my real dice. Okay, hold on a second. No. That is a 19 plus, what was it? Insight?
That would be a perception check, my friend.
Perception, my mistake. 19 plus 2, so 21.
Nice.
21.
Vernon's taller, so he can see better.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, as he's walking around, his hair is is much shorter and more kept than Timtam's is. And you see that there's just the hint of a marking just on the nape of his neck, just above his hairline.
Oh, that's a very interesting mark that you've got there on your neck.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, have you not seen it? There's a mark on your neck, right?
How would I
just
see
above your
it if
hairline.
it's on the back of my neck?
I don't know. You're an artificer.
Like
I
mirrors?
just imagined you've seen a mirror.
I'm not an artificer.
What?
I'm just a kid.
How old
Oh.
are you?
I am. Well, I guess you're like my cousin or something. I'm 18.
Can I see turn around? Turn around. I'm her older cousin. I can tell you what to do.
Okay, and he doesn't even stop. He just okay, and he turns around like kid style. Yeah. Get right up there and inspect that.
I do.
You see in gnomes use the same sort of base runic language as dwarves do. And so you as you look into it, you see the dwarvish rune for the number 90.
90?
90, yeah.
What is this? Promised Neverland. It's a fun anime. I'm sure it's not the same.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. I don't know anything about that, so this is all new.
Until you at break.
Okay, so I mean, it could mean anything.
Mm-hmm. What is it? Is it like a cool
Oh.
birthmark? Is
No.
No? Is it a tick? It's tick season out there, and I've been
It is
really
tick
careful. But
good. You need to be careful about that. Make sure you do a full body check anytime you come back from inside.
Mhm.
Does the number 90 mean anything to you? Please say that it's like your favorite number or something.
No.
I'm distracted, but Vernon should look for a mark on the back of Tim's neck too.
I think by now you probably piled up enough on the door if you want to.
Okay. Yeah. How's my fortifications looking?
It's looking pretty solid.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just pile up a bunch of rubble and
Just
boxes and shit.
dusting my hand off. It's like, okay, so I think we're good on plant stuff. Maybe it will knock and think we're not home. What's going on over here now?
Good call. We found a mark on the back of this young boy's neck.
Okay.
It has something to do with the number 90. I can't read it.
Okay.
Will you check mine? And she's gonna lift up her hair and pull down her scarf and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You check if you want to. Yeah, you check the back of Tim's head.
Anything?
Yeah, under the rat's nest of hair with twigs and little things.
It's stylish. It's fashion.
It is. It's very fashion. And yeah, you can clearly see that she's cut her own hair once or twice. And at the base of
very hobo
base
chic.
of her skull, just underneath the hairline, you see the number 86 and a confirmation rune.
Like a check mark type?
Essentially, it's like a check mark or a star or something to denote that this is a special thing.
Oh, it's like the little sparkle thing that's next to a Pokemon when they're shiny.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, if Emery, if you show or tried to draw out what that symbol is for Tim.
Yeah, I'll tell her it's like an 86 and there's a little, and I'll kind of just draw it in the air like a squiggle thing. How long have you always had that?
She did not know that she had it, right?
Yeah, no, you had no idea. Tim, that squiggle thing, it is indeed a gnomish confirmation shorthand rune. Your parents use it whenever they confirm a successful batch of something.
Love that. Yeah.
Just saying, I know there's probably some, I didn't catch most of that. We should probably find a higher ground just in case that thing manages to bust through. I mean, is there an upper balcony or something that we could check for it? Because we have barricaded.
We could go to the top of it's very rickety. It's
I'm
not.
I'm just worried that if that thing gets in, we're going to be in for a fight. And I point to Henry, you don't look like much of a fighter.
No.
There's a giant plant coming after us. I don't know if you got the full context. Sorry for busting into your house.
Well, bad things don't tend to come into my little glade. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, all of the towers have protection around them. Or at least mine did. I assume that they would do it to the other ones too.
I mean, we should
What-
probably like.
What other ones?
Let's deal with this plant first, and then I'll explain everything. But first, do you know what this symbol means? The like confirmation symbol. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, mom and dad sometimes use it to sign off on things that they approve of. I guess they didn't stick around very. They've been gone for a little while.
Oh, did you hear that, Tim? Your parents approve of you. That's wonderful.
No, they're my parents. I mean, unless your parents use the same rune. I mean, it would make sense. We're in the same family.
Yeah, we're cousins. Okay. Can somebody else make decisions?
Yeah, I say let's go. You said that there was like an upstairs or something, like an upstairs window that we could, check.
Yeah.
I know you said there's protections and shit, but I want to visualize with my own eyes that this plant thing's not going to give us any more shit before we get too comfortable.
Sure. Yeah,
That's probably a good idea.
It's
It might
quite
climb
the
up
walk,
walls.
but yeah, there's a stair. There's a window halfway up, and he points up, and you can just barely see it. There are a couple of windows up high.
I'm already going.
It is indeed quite the walk. And yeah, as you're standing at this window looking out, you can see the plant monster aggressively like slamming itself into what appears to be some sort of invisible barrier that it can't get through.
I flick it off with both hands.
Don't think it notices you, but
Oh no, I don't give a shit if it notices me. I'm just it feels right. I think we're good.
Oh, splendid news.
You head back down?
Yeah.
There is further above you, in fact. Just in case you're curious.
Well, now that you said that. Okay, because I saw like the lab when Timtam and I had our Dream Escapade episode. Does this ring any bells? Is this like familiar to me?
No. However, you were never in the clock proper. And now it appears as though you could absolutely get behind the clock if you wanted to. There seems to be like something up there.
Sure, it seems tense downstairs, and sure, why not? I'll just kind of like if I'm already up there, it's like maybe we'd be able to see. I wonder if I can see further if I go up higher, kind of thing.
Indeed.
Be like,
it is a little rickety. You get to this point here. I'm gonna need you to make me an acrobatics check to navigate this part, as it was very
well, I do have
clearly constructed by the young Henry.
I do have a +5 to that. That's a dirty 20, my friend.
Beautiful. Yes, you do indeed make it. And you get all the way up to the top of the clock tower, and you can see that this place has barely been worked on. You can see that occasionally Henry must have spent some time here, although it has been a little while. And you can see like a stack of notes that appears to be not written by Henry anyway. You don't know who it's written by.
Some dwarvish parents who like to clone their kids, perhaps.
That is true. It is written in Dwarvish. Well, it's Gnomish, but they use the Dwarvish script, so.
I can't read that, can I? No.
Unfortunately, you could bring it down for a certain other person if you feel like they would want to read it.
Yeah, probably. It seems like Tim's going through a thing, and I mean, like we came to this whole tower to research your parents, so I'm gonna snag that, tuck it in my pocket.
All right.
Anything else interesting up here? I see there's like a weird statue.
That statue is representing a what's left of the mechanisms for the
That's
clock
the name of the
itself.
show.
Yeah, what's left of the mechanisms. It's it certainly doesn't look
band.
as though it doesn't appear to have been like. I mean, you can make me an Arcana check actually. Why not? Because it definitely doesn't look like regular clock mechanisms.
No, that is a 4.
That is a 4. No, all you know is that this absolutely does not look like it was regular clock mechanisms at all.
Weird.
Mhm.
If I like start to head out and I like look down can I see down the path where the fucking plant was again? I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, no, not unfortunately, not until you pass by that window again.
Okay. Well, I guess as I'm headed down, I will keep an eye out for anything else that seems interesting, but I will make my way down.
Sure.
If I pass that window again, I will flick it off again.
You
Both
do
hands.
indeed. You can see it's already kind of like slowing down. The likelihood is that it will not continue for much longer.
Sucks to suck,
Emery.
bitch.
Oh,
You guys like
And
hear
that's
that
how-
quietly echoing down.
And that's how Rathgurther got the king to marry his horse.
that's so cool. I didn't know about Rathgurther. Is this
Yeah.
You didn't read the Rathgurther books?
No, mother and father were adamant that I read The Adventures of Emery Black instead.
I just put a snack in my mouth.
This is why they didn't approve of this batch.
He's maybe a little young for those.
He's I mean, in like human years, he would be the right age.
Tim, didn't you say you didn't want to read those because they were
But yeah,
Salty
just
or whatever? For clarity,
I
for
don't like
clarity,
that kind of stuff.
The first few books were the romance stuff. They started adding that later because the target audience was growing up and getting older, and they thought that.
Oh, there's more books? I thought there was only like 4 or 5.
There's like 12 at this point.
I gotta read those. I gotta know what happens.
Yeah. So anyway, and I'll just wordlessly hand Tim the papers that I found. He's just like, found this. Can't read it.
Meanwhile, Rathgurther finally clues in and goes, "Oh, well, you see, actually, I know the mighty Rathgurther is probably all you need, but we actually have the real Emery Black right here." And she gives you the biggest shit-eating grin you've ever seen in your life.
It is just a coincidence.
Yeah, is it?
Yes.
You're dressed like her?
And you do have the name.
Like, that is because of the god's coincidence.
Okay.
And I just give Rathgurther the fucking biggest glare.
It's like,
just like eyes are on fire a little bit, just like just like, stop talking.
I would like to dive into the notes.
The notes. Perfect.
The notes.
Mm-hmm. How far do you want to read? There's a couple of scattered papers, essentially. It looks like Henry may have cobbled this together from whatever he was able to pull out before the spell collapsed. This would have been in the laboratory.
Right. Can I just... I guess I don't necessarily need to read all of them, but can I just get a gist of like what they are about? Like, what is the topic of these notes? And then I can decide if I want to...
This was written in your parents' scientific shorthand. So it's not likely that Henry would have made any sort of sense out of these at all. From what you're able to gather from the scattered, there is they mention 4 building projects underway. They mention a total of 8 batches successful. They mention needing to check back in with the patron and also securing the original specimen.
Original specimen?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to investigate that bit further.
There's not much there, but why don't you give me a history check with advantage because you know your parents?
17.
17. There is, even in the shorthand, it looks like they were trying to be clever about hiding their tracks. The original shorthand seems to say that the original specimen is being held somewhere in Tower 1.
Does Timtam know the tower numbers?
I know that mine was the first one. Right?
Yours was likely to be the first one as far as you knew, yes.
I don't like that as far as you knew. Sparks, well, you've never been to the tower, so I guess you wouldn't really know. Can we have like a huddle real quick?
Okay.
Oh yes, I love a
And,
huddle.
like,
No,
Henry
not
immediately
you,
moves
Henry.
forward.
No,
Oh,
not
oh,
you. Everyone
oh.
but you.
Okay, I'll
Sparks, go keep an eye on him.
I'll find some tea or something. You
No.
have fun in your huddle.
Sparks, make sure that he doesn't get into. Just keep an eye on him, please.
I'm going to hand him my charlatan's die and be like, here, if you roll this, you see what the highest thing you can get is, and then I'm going to go with the huddle.
See if you can add up to 90.
Oh,
What the heck is going on?
Okay, this is gonna sound like a lot, but I'm. So you know how like my parents kind of suck and like they were like gone and it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
If my inference is correct, I think that they it like built me or like cloned me, and I think that that's what Henry is, and that they had this other tower and hid us from each other, and so like my thing says 86 and his says 90. Did they
You think you might be a clone too? Like,
I think that the notes say that there was an original specimen, and the way that this sort of like genetic splicing stuff works, just based on the little bit that I've read about it, is that like you have an original thing and then you make like iterations of it, and each one that is a success you keep and like build off of that, and each one that fails you oh
That sounds like it could be bad.
I think my parents were bad guys.
yeah, I don't think that is
Yeah.
an off hypothesis.
I mean, I've been around evil people. I know a couple things about that, and that's pretty evil, I have to say.
Well, all right, listen, maybe the others aren't. I mean, what's his name? Henry didn't have like one of those little squiggles things, right? And so would that imply that he's a failed clone?
I don't, because like I don't even know how they tested like what.
I mean, because he's still alive, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like, what if he just wasn't old enough for them to know whether it was a success or not?
an ongoing trial, your parents would have said.
It's just words just like in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do? I don't. Listen, Tim, we already know your parents suck.
Yeah, but that was just like they sucked like a normal amount. Like it was just like, oh, they just left for it.
I don't know if I don't know if that was ever a normal amount of suck, and it seems like they get worse. Yeah, it's getting worse with everything that we learn.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should go back to my tower and see what, because they said the original specimen was there, and even though the magic is gone, we might still find like a trace of it or something. Figure out what
The original specimen's not you?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I have 86 on the back of my head. So
I mean,
like,
I was thinking that too, but I mean, if the note said that the original specimen was in that tower, you were there for how long and you never found anything like that?
What if?
Yeah, but they didn't really let me like poke around a bunch. So
you were there for how long? What, 24, 25 years without them, and you never poked around in their shit?
Well, maybe they took it with them. I don't know.
What if the tower number corresponds with the number on the back of your head?
You think there's like 90 towers?
I think it's entirely possible. They might not all be on this plane either, now that I think about it.
Oh.
Your map does have way more than just the 10 major experiment points on it. But the main 10 experiment points are marked a little bit differently than the others. You didn't know why at first, aside from the fact that it was probably your parents' most important experiments. But
your tower might not be the original one.
Well, then what's the original tower?
I have no idea.
We might have to track down somebody with the number 1 on the back of their head.
Or we just track down her parents.
Tim,
That might be easier.
Actively thinking of like problem solving for this, or are you kind of lost in your thoughts?
I think that she is lost.
Okay.
I think that there's just like too much that is like hit her all at once over the past 24 hours that she's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Then Emery, if you want to, you can make an Arcana check, but it's not going to be easy.
No, I'm sure it won't be. Oh, that is a 9.
9. No, unfortunately, you just don't know enough about magical experimentation.
I mean,
or
I
her
wouldn't
parents.
have anyway. I mean, this may seem like an obvious solution, but there's like, I'm sure that you have tried this. You haven't like been able to get in contact with them with any kind of like sending spell or anything like that. You tried sending them a letter, nothing?
They said that they would send me a letter if they were gone for too long, and they never did.
Well, did you ever try contacting them?
Well, I'm not that good at magic. I can't just like do super high level stuff.
Sending's not that high level, and even if you can't do it, we can find someone who can.
What if we could
Does
boost
Rathgarther
your
know
sending spells
I know-
somehow?
Does Rathgarther know sending? I don't.
I doubt it, but I'll check for you.
What, Vernon? I missed
What
that.
if if we could boost that message out to try to maybe expand?
Well, so you remember that like weird like wizard tower in the swamp thing that we were in?
Oh yes, how could I forget?
Right. Oh right, because
There was the tea. It was wonderful.
Yeah, so like I've been thinking about the tea stuff, and I was thinking like, what if we could use that, but for like finding other stuff other than just like tea?
Ooh.
And so I was
Interesting.
sort of trying to think of a way that I could make like a little, sort of like a little drone guy that would go out and like find stuff for me.
That
And
would
like
be really useful.
I could use that to find my parents.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Hmm.
We could also find someone who knows sending. My uncle might even know sending or
Well, I had
something. I
the-
don't.
The old lady in the swamp tried to scry on them, and it just like didn't work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's ways that scrying can get fucked up, though.
Mhm.
Well, I do
Um,
have an awakened mind, but unfortunately only works within 30 feet.
Mm.
I don't think they're within 30 feet.
But what if they
What
were?
if they were?
Tim, again, at any point, if you feel like you're kind of kicking into problem-solving brain here, I will let you make an Arcana check.
Yeah, I think now that she's starting to, since her friends are what's the word I'm looking for? Like goal oriented, or solution oriented, then maybe she will. All right, just straight Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
16.
16. And this was specifically for that spell, I should say. Yeah, you probably have enough of a basis to ritual cast it. You know that this particular spell basically takes the find a person spell and very dangerously removes the limits on its distance. And so if you cast it as a ritual, there's not a lot that can go wrong. However, if you were to not cast it as a ritual, this spell could recurse and cause some very dangerous problems.
Like what?
Well,
Are we talking about the tea spell?
Yes,
The
tea
one
spell.
that made ingredients for tea crash through the wall and
Yes,
was enough force to potentially kill a person?
Yes.
As it turned out, that tea spell had no limits on the range, and that included extraplanar. So if for some reason there was no tea ingredients for the tea you requested with this spell on the plane itself, it would go extraplanar and find it. And so the same thing you can apply.
So
Tim
what we're
believes.
talking about doing is Timtam using that spell on her parents and dragging them through in a straight line towards
Well, it doesn't
us.
bring them. It just gives me information on where they are.
On where they are.
Would it?
Correct.
Yes.
Or would it summon them?
I only have access to level
Through the
2 spells.
wall.
Yeah, all Tim is powerful enough to do is to find them.
Yeah.
Or anyone else with which she is familiar.
I will say that I also have the ability to send out messages through animals, like within a 50-mile radius. So, if you want to do that.
Miles,
Yeah, it's 50 miles.
Well, how much is a mile, really?
Vernon, do you know, like,
about 1.6 kilometers, I think.
Distance.
What the heck's a kilometer?
What the fuck is a kilometer?
I'm
yes,
gonna be
I
frank
think
with you. I just been walking this whole time, so
I'm just gonna go ahead and cast this like experimental spell, if that's okay.
sure.
I will mentally prepare
Sure,
for
folks.
Timothy's parents to crash through the wall.
Yeah, she will
Dead on arrival.
cast.
Oh, there they are.
Oh.
All right. As you cast, it takes a 10-minute cast to set this all up. Again, you're setting up the ribbons of the spell required to go extraplanar and to also protect the nearby reality from any recursive events, which is why casting it as a ritual is a better idea. And after a few moments, Tim, your eyes kind of roll back into your head and you get this vision, sort of. Everything is gray and wispy. And it takes a few seconds, but you realize that you're back on the ethereal plane, the same place you had been every time the Chew killed you. And the ethereal plane in some places is weaker, and the high forest is certainly one of them. The difference between the ethereal and the material plane, because they butt up against each other. Dead people travel through the ethereal plane first before they get to wherever they're going. And every once in a while, for instance, whenever a wizard casts Blink or any short-range teleport like Misty Step, they go through the ethereal plane. And in another tower, not too far from here, that is mostly collapsed and has what looks to be a giant blast mark in the center of it. Your parents are sitting there trying to invent their way out of a problem. You can see them relatively clearly. They're in the ethereal plane. They're stuck. And they're trying to get out without having anything on hand. And so like they're using bits of their clothes, some of their tools they have on them. They're trying new things and writing down the results on the ground with like chalk that they managed to find that was in the ethereal plane. And they're like grabbing like nearby ghosts and like positioning them in places and like trying to use their spiritual energy.
Shaking them.
Shaking them. No, they haven't unlocked the shaking them part of the experiment yet. And so yeah, they're there and they're problem solving. It doesn't look as though they're dead. It looks as though they have been caught mid teleport essentially. And yeah, you are, aside from that, you know that they are not too far away.
Do I know
in
what
one of
direction
the other towers.
the tower is?
Yeah, it is further to the north from you. It would be, if this, as you are reading your map correctly, if this was Tower 5, the tower you would be looking for would be Tower 6.
Okay. Well, I guess when I snap back to reality,
There goes gravity.
Oh,
I was waiting for it.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you paused for so long.
I did. I was.
wake you back up with the smell of mom's spaghetti.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, okay, so the spell worked, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look like any of the walls have collapsed any more than they were, so that's good. I'll have to write that down, that this didn't, there were no problems. I know where they are. They're stuck in the ethereal plane in
Oh.
Why do you say it like that?
Well, because we don't have a good way to get there.
Oh, I disagree. I very much disagree. I
can do
get
that?
to the ethereal plane very easily.
Can you?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, I guess when I was in your head, it did sort of seem like there was some sort of like weird kind of connection between you and these like interplanar beings.
Oh, yeah.
So like that makes sense, I guess.
Interplanar crabs? Like the
well, only one of them is a crab. The rest of them are kind of like, I mean, they're all people. We're all people when you think about it.
It's true. Even crabs are
like
people.
Trees and stuff are people.
Vernon,
yeah.
in the back of your head, your patron is like, oh.
Crabs is people.
Crabs is people. Well, yeah, I guess that would work then. So yeah, we can do that. Like whenever. It's not that far from here. It's just a little
50 miles.
North. What?
Is it within 50 miles?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going to get ready a messenger from do the animal messenger thing.
Now, can the animal messenger go into the ethereal plane, though?
If I can find an extra planar crab, then yes, of course.
Sure, okay.
Then grab a chipmunk, kill it, and be like, okay, now your ghost, go do an animal messenger.
You pick up this chipmunk. Your ghost. You're about to die, and you're gonna die because I need a messenger.
I need you to, I'm gonna use you to send a message.
Like
not that way though, but like like literally.
Yes.
Let's see here. So typically, Animal Messenger can't be used extraplanarly. However, you aren't the typical caster, Vernon. So
I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do. I'll do the Animal Messenger thing, and then I'll stick it in my wrist pocket because I feel like that's where that goes, right?
No, your wrist pocket goes to a very tiny extra dimensional plane that is your own. However, that's not a bad idea. And again, if I remember, you were fresh off of your stint in the astral plane. You have more understanding of how your power specifically works. If you want to try, I will give you the chance to try. What exactly are you trying to do?
I think I'm gonna try to, like I said, send I guess I will do, as we said, take a little woodland creature and just try to send it through with like a little note tied to its back. Be like, hey guys. Whatever Tim writes, on there, I guess, just be like, hey, so we found this guy and we just want to know, we just want to talk.
Okay.
Are we writing an actual letter to my parents? Because I don't know that I want that to be the like.
Tim,
The
can you
tone?
make me like an intelligence check just off the dome here, real quick?
That is where
10.
intelligence comes from.
10? You know what?
Mhm.
That's high enough to just kind of go. If you don't want to talk to your parents,
Uh-huh.
because you don't know what that would gain you right now,
Mm-hmm.
if your theory is correct about what you are and who you are, you can use that friend finder spell on lots more people than you think.
Ooh. Use it on 0.
Yeah, because like if I'm 99.9999 repeating, you could just say repeating. That's the actual Sparks. Just I know that you haven't taken a math class, but like usually if a decimal point is the same forever, you can just say repeating. That way you don't have to say 9 over and over again. Just
You see
so
his
you know.
eyes like sputter for a second as the cogitator kind of does its work, and then like in a big booming voice he goes, "Data influence achieved."
Sparks, you sound an awful lot like a knoll.
But yeah, no,
Don't worry
so
about it.
like if I have the same genetic makeup, it's like 99.9 repeating percent as number 90, then yeah, I mean, I guess I would probably have a similar number with the original, especially if I'm like a success, whatever that means.
Mhm.
So can I use myself to find the source?
I mean,
I don't know who I'm asking for this.
yeah. Rutgerther, assuming that you're asking her, because
Yeah.
he goes, "Well, Tim,
Yes.
you realize that you are quite a unique individual, even if you are. What is this? What did you say? A clone?
Yeah.
Clone? How could
Mhm.
you be exactly the same? Look, you look nothing like that little man over there." And then
They do
there's
actually
Henry in
look
the
very
background,
similar.
like,
I mean, it's worth a try.
well, yes, it's just, believe in yourself. You're your
I
own
mean,
person.
It's true, it worked for me. I licked a spell off a wall.
Okay, but that only worked because of some weird. But I don't think that would work if you did it now.
I mean, you can try.
Believing in yourself does not allow you to lick spells off walls.
It
And I
also
don't
allowed me
even-
to dissolve doorknobs.
I mean, you
Yeah,
can lick
but that
whatever you
wasn't
want, regardless of if you believe in yourself.
That was a weird
that's just-
spectral crab thing. I don't know if you, Vernon, can do that anymore.
Well, there's only one way to
Can't-
find out.
Can you? Oh, God.
Let's go test.
All right. Well,
Well, that would
shit.
require a spell to be on a doorknob or something. Small child,
What?
have you ensorcelled these doorknobs? And he's like, no, I don't know magic.
What do you know?
Oh,
Oh.
I
Holy
didn't
shit.
mean for that to be as mean as it sounds.
damn.
Dad used to say that. And he like
Oh!
walks into
Oh, no. Tim, look what you've done.
he walks into
Oh, no. We all grow up to be them, don't we, Tim? Oh, no.
Oh, that's amazing.
Folks,
I need to break the cycle.
cool DM tip. If you do everything right, your players will traumatize themselves by traumatizing your NPCs and recursing on themselves for infinity.
Just like the fucking T spell. Good Lord.
Amazing. Before we mop this up, it is about the time for a break. We want to take one. It has been
Or
an
do we
hour.
just want to jump straight back into trauma zone?
We could just keep going. I know we typically in our home games play a little bit longer before we take a break, so it's up to you folks.
I'm fine.
I am also fine. That's why I'm asking.
Mhm.
I am also okay.
All right. All right. Then we will keep going. Okay. So aside from the trauma, does Tim want to try the spell on finding 0 right away, or does she think it's better to try and find other generations first and see what happens to test this theory out? Because you have a good example right here. For instance, you could find number 90.
What would
Because
that?
because
What
it
would I
would prove
learn
that you
from
could do
that?
it. You could prove that you could do it, basically.
Yeah, but I know that I can do it. Like, I know that I can find people that I'm familiar with.
Oh, that's true. So you got to find one that you were unfamiliar with somehow.
Yes.
I
So
think go
might
big
as
or go
well.
home.
Yeah, so might as
Try
well
0.
just, go
I'll
big or
try
go
0.
home.
Not
Okay.
wrong. Okay. You go ahead and you make the circle again, and you inscribe 0.
Hmm.
Can you make me an Arcana check?
Mhm.
Big rollies.
Ooh, not bad. 22.
22. You beat
There
the
we go.
spread. Bravo. This is a little bit different. It is indeed a difficult thing typically to find somebody in another plane. I'll grant you that. But your parents also weren't trying to hide. And whatever this is definitely trying to hide. You see rows and rows and rows of copper tubes, large ones with glass fronts. And at the very, very end of this long hallway, you see another one built more reverently, with much more care. There's even decoration on it in the form of hexagrammic wards and decorations and the sort of mathematical, geographic sort of things, the sort of things that your parents would find beautiful. And it's shaped more like a coffin, and it is indeed lying horizontally rather than upright. It has no other markings aside from that. And you can barely see there's a figure inside, small. And unfortunately, slightly misshapen, as far as you can tell.
Do I know where this is?
Yes, you do indeed. This is, regardless of your parents' predilection for using extraplanar stuff and magic to keep things private to them, this is a physical location because they were worried. It is drawing its own power. You know that you can feel this sort of idea that it is powering itself somehow through some sort of other arcane means that was never detected, and it is sitting directly below a very familiar tower. Familiar because it is not because it looks like your tower, because it is your tower, near Loudwater, in the compound, underground.
Hey Jay, what the fuck?
I told you I did bad things to all of you. I think what I did to Tim was the worst, although we'll have to figure that out when Emery finds out her thing.
Hey, what does that mean? Hey, hello. Hey, what does
Don't worry
that
about it.
mean?
Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so by comparison, that means I got off light.
Oh yeah, Cosmic Castaway, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, how many tubes? Just like ballpark.
The tubes that you are seeing, probably in the neighborhood of 10 or so.
Interesting. And they're all empty?
Some of them are just straight up empty. Some of them contain little tiny bodies.
Cool.
Did you get anything?
Oh, you asked me how I, like, yeah, I lived in the tower forever. How didn't I know? It's because it's underground.
Oh, you saw something.
Mm-hmm.
How's Tim looking, like, emotionally? Like, can I do an insight check on Tim?
Do you need to? I don't know. What's up?
I mean, does Tim look like she is about to fucking burst into tears or anything? Like, what's the vibe?
She, I think, is like 1,000-yard stare. Like, you can hear the gears turning in her brain, and she's just like, I think she doesn't look like she's gonna cry. I think she looks like she's gonna vomit. Like, her entire world is like exploding out of her brain right now, and she doesn't really know how to cope, and I feel like her body is like shutting down.
Okay. You don't look so hot.
I'm fine.
Yes, Tim,
That-
if you need to rest, or perhaps maybe it would help to find another one of you who is alive, like Henry. Is that what I'm seeing here? Is that
I'm going to surreptitiously look for like a bucket or something.
Henry? Henry, are you still
for a
here?
second? So he goes, yeah.
I have something to tell you.
And he comes out, and you can see he's like busy trying to make something. He's like, I tried making this animatronic doll for you. It's out of sticks right now, but it'll be something. I
started with sticks too.
I can make. I know things.
Do you need some help in there, kiddo?
I don't. Do you know how to make a doll that'll make people proud of me?
Oh my god! Is that what you're working on?
You're all welcome. You're all welcome. I love all of you. Uh-huh.
Oh, Henry, I'm so proud of you. Look at this. It's wonderful.
Henry, I need to talk to you.
Did I do something wrong?
Oh no. Oh no. No, it's okay. I need to talk to you, and I think you should sit down.
He sits down on the floor. Like,
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna tell him all of it. Basically, her whole life story. Not really get into like what the group has done, but just like the Butterball centric important information.
Oh, okay. He takes it pretty well, actually.
Really?
Yeah, weirdly. I think he's a little bit more sad that he might not be someone. He might not make someone proud. Which should tell you a lot about your family. He goes, "Hey, okay, so I have brothers and sisters.
Mhm.
How many do we have? Am I the last one?
I don't think so. There's a lot of if I'm assuming that like all of the work sites on this map are towers, then this is tower number 5. So there's at least probably 4 or 5 more.
That would mean, and he counts off in his head, there are 95 of us.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. I don't
Are you able to look at all of them? Are they okay?
could. It's kind of exhausting to do. Like, it doesn't take like magic energy. It's just like emotional energy.
Is emotional energy a type of magic? If we found a new type of magic that mom and dad don't know about, that would rub it in their faces.
I think it would, but I wonder if maybe it's sort of like a fruitless endeavor to try to make them proud if they don't value you, then why does them being proud of you matter?
Oh, I don't want them to be proud. Also, what's a fruit?
You don't have. What have you been
Vernon
eating?
pulls out an orange.
That's good for preventing scurvy.
Mhm.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Mom and Dad left me a bunch of these, and he pulls out like a brick of like crunchy stuff, and you know that this is the patented Butterball ration bar.
Nutriloaf.
Yeah, Nutriloaf. Essentially, it is mostly
Nutritional
flavorless.
cube.
It is every bit of nutrition you need. It's just
Sparks, can you like bake this boy a fruit pie? I don't know if that's something you can do, but like
adding baking to subroutines. One moment. And like a bunch of like grinding noises comes from him specifically, and then his chest opens and there is suddenly like
Yeah, there's some stuff in there.
Oven. There's like an oven in his chest now where there wasn't before.
Where'd the hand go?
The hand is in his torso on the other side.
Oh, okay.
He contains multitudes. Literally.
Hand, oven. What can't this dog do?
Truly.
He's an easy bake oven.
Yeah. So essentially incidentally, that means that Sparks can now cast create food and water. So it's up to you. You can do that whenever you'd like. This is how I play D&D. My players ask for something and I just give it to them in the most esoteric way possible.
Yep.
What's the dog doing?
What's the dog doing indeed?
Yeah, can I let's have a meal. Let's just have like a sit down and Henry, do you want to like come with us?
Yeah, I was just thinking we probably shouldn't. I mean, should we?
What if he can stay with your family?
I mean, I was thinking that, but I mean, what if that fucking plant is still out there?
He and Nina would get along so well.
They probably would. They could talk about the Emery.
We could talk about the Emery
I was going to
books.
say they both love to read.
I've never been out of this tower.
Listen.
Okay, because see, here's the thing.
I
was
I
thinking,
told you, like, I also, and it's like so cool. Like, they're friends. That's like a thing that you can have, and they like do stuff with you.
I hear there's a mimic named Tammy.
There is a mimic named Tammy.
somewhere out in the world.
She's doing her best.
Use that friend fighter spell on Tammy. We have to see what she's up to. Just like it's a brief reprieve between looking at what your family is doing. He's like, I need a Tammy break. You just go check on Tammy, and she's just trotting like down the street.
She's just doing anything else. Just the wildest stuff every time you look into her.
She's just, there's wild horses running alongside her through a field.
You check on her again in 2 weeks, and she's like the mayor of a small town.
Oh God, she is perfect.
Check on her again. She's like inventing burlesque somewhere.
Tammy, amazing.
Listen, Tammy is a queen. We have no choice but to stand. I love that this is slowly becoming how many very fun NPCs can Jay make.
Welcome to D&D.
So yes, you all can sit and have a meal. Before you decide to have a long rest, which I'm assuming you're all going to do here, are you going to actually try and find anyone else?
I think that after she gets some food in her, and now that I think it probably did really help her to get all of her family stuff. Like, it hasn't been solved, but she's at least like been able to talk to people about it. And so like, that's good. So I think that she is feeling a little bit more equipped to like, yeah, pick a number, any number. I can do it.
Okay. I guess it would make sense to know about the other ones in the other towers, maybe. But what about the ones before us, right? Like, if you're some sort of like benchmark, is that the right idea? Then what about the people who came before us?
I'm like worried about that.
And like, am I made from you, or am I also made from the first one?
Yeah, Sparks, can you tell if like, is Henry like my son, or like? Yeah, is it like that kind of weird? I don't know how this works.
Processing. And he opens up his mouth again and he scans like the both of you this time. And it takes about 10 minutes this time, like an actual spell.
I'm gonna need to like redo that like wand. It's kind of icky. I need to figure out what to
Very the thing adjacent.
Yeah.
And then after a few minutes, he goes, "Ding."
Oh, the fries are done.
Genetic variance confirms that this generation likely to be coming from your generation markers specifically.
Oh, I have a child.
Oh my god!
And he looks at you and like, Mom?
Oh
No.
boy.
No, that feels weird.
That
feels
was in
weird.
character.
I don't like that.
Oh, can you just be my sister? Is that okay?
Yeah, we could just be siblings.
Okay,
That's fine.
thank
I don't
you.
like that.
It's not like this isn't a thing that happens
No,
out in
it's
the
like
world anyway.
It's like an
Aw.
iterative thing.
So, but that makes me even more nervous. What happened before us? Where are they?
I think. So I told you, I think our parents might be like bad.
You think?
Well, should I check?
Well,
I'm scared. What if I
you-
check and it's really bad?
What if?
I mean,
okay. What if,
you don't-
What if,
Okay, what do you hope to gain by checking? Like, what's the objective with checking on them like the others? What would you learn from that?
Curiosity.
Curiosity that has the potential to make whatever is happening in your brain right. Do you want to maybe like wait until
No.
that time? Are you sure?
Yeah.
You really want to
I-
overload yourself with all of
I'm
this?
fine.
I
That
can't
is what a
remember.
person who is not fine would say.
Yeah.
Okay,
you,
good.
You
I'm-
also
I'm-
just realized that you realize that the universe is being
You-
devoured.
You found
By the
out
way.
that you're a clone today. I don't know if you are okay, actually.
And that this
I'm
is
fine.
kind of your son.
Don't. We're
Um,
not using those words.
This is your very close brother.
My very extremely close
Right.
brother.
Um,
I
the
don't like
only person here. Okay, so if you want to make the choice to search for this thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone around this table also gets to try and like get their own flavor of information on this situation. I of course I have a list. Sorry, chat is thinking. Listen, chat. Who do you think I am? Okay, who do you think I am that I don't have a list of these children that I have done terrible things to? Every DM,
Is any of them named Fran?
Fran.
There are
One
several named Fran, at least. I've seen
Yeah,
his
but
notes.
how many candy bars even are there?
There are so many.
Well, there's the Kit Kat.
There are
the
precisely
Baby
95
Ruth.
versions of.
There's
no.
the Baby Ruth 2.
Yeah. So
I'll explain the
Uh,
Fran joke after the session. Don't worry.
if everyone
audience.
wants to make an Arcana check in general or a history check, it is up to you. History or Arcana. I can tell you what you will learn from this situation. And Tim, if you wish to pick a number and look for it,
Do I
No.
also make an Arcana check?
if you would like.
not even going to tell you what I rolled. It's not going to win.
I
I-
rolled a natural 20 for
Yo!
28.
You know what's funny?
Well-
So did Rathgurther.
I rolled a 16, which translates into a dirty 20. So
That's
Amazing.
I rolled a
amazing.
no. So
I think probably all the family trauma is really getting to Emery right now, and she's just having a hard time focusing on her magical principles. But
A
everybody
number
else,
between what and what? Sorry, I was not listening.
whatever you would like.
Oh. So I'm 86. I'm going to go 12?
Number 12.
Number 12?
Okay.
deal or no deal?
So before I tell everybody what they think they could do in this situation based on their Arcana checks, you're going to cast a spell.
Uh-huh.
And this spell is going to do something that it should not do. It is going to fail.
Am I able to understand why?
There is one good reason for this spell to fail.
If the finder, if the person I'm trying to find is not a person but a corpse.
Arcana wise, Tim.
Mm.
First thing that leaps into your head is that you still wouldn't have had the spells that you have access to wouldn't have been able to give you a very clear picture of what's going on, even if they had found the person. They would have just found the person, and that would have been it.
Uh-huh.
And so you would have had to guess. Vernon and Rathgurther are both people who both think a little tiny bit differently. And as such, they both know of a spell that can get you the information, abstract or otherwise, that probably you could not get otherwise. It's from a spell called Legend Lore, and usually it cannot be cast by people of this low a level. However, Vernon, you have done a series of impossible things for a very long time. If you would like
Sure.
to cast Legend Lore, I will allow you to try. There will be consequences if it fails.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm always one of the people who's like, damn the consequences, so let's do it. If Vernon's
is
head
not-
explodes, so be it.
This is not
got a great character
exactly a
lined up.
pass-fail thing. I have like a range going on here when you're trying this.
Sweet.
So,
So what do I gotta do?
you are getting in touch with your higher self, the Arthropod, as the Arthropod knows all very easily.
Sweet.
It's his dream after all, right?
Oh, I love talking to this guy. He's so positive.
That's right. You're like, okay, what part of my dream do you want to see today?
I would like to see. Well, what I guess what am I looking for? I guess I'm looking for like
What happened to the others, perhaps, would be not a bad one.
Yes, that
Perhaps
would
just
be
the what her parents were doing with this whole system would
what
not
was
be
the
a
intention.
bad thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what do I have to roll anything or?
You do indeed. You are going to roll, and you are going to be adding your. My Lord, Vernon, what am I going to make you add to this? Why is your intimidation so high? Good God.
My charisma is through the roof.
It is very high.
He's a warlock. They're
I'm going to,
charisma casters.
Yeah, I'm going to let you add your spell attack modifier to this.
Where is that at on here?
Under spells. Very top of the page.
Spells. Wait, really? I don't
Mhm.
see it on here. Maybe I'm not looking in the right place.
Your spell attack modifier is +9.
Oh, yep. Nope. Never mind. It was right there. Okay. I got a 19. All told.
A
Damn.
19 is a success. Not an amazing success considering you don't know the spell, but a success nonetheless.
I'm just doing it to show off at this point. So
Absolutely. Vernon, you have a hard time not sharing images in your own brain, especially after you've been the Arthropod for so long. And so I think it's appropriate that the vision is shared with the people around you, projected onto the walls and the floor of this place, just as though exactly out of your eyeballs.
Here's a disco ball.
That's right.
The traumatizing disco ball.
Yeah.
Hanging from the ceiling and spin them around.
Woo!
Legend lore is vague in very certain ways. Sometimes it gives you only a riddle. Sometimes it gives you a smell that you're supposed to associate with something. This time, Legend lore is going to give you a little bit of a show. It is going to show you snippets, and you are going to have to put together the pieces. The first image is a much younger pair of gnomes. And Tim, you recognize this as, of course, your parents. You see them inventing and trying and failing and inventing and trying and failing on a whole bunch of different things. Moderate success with mundane things, but as they go on with their life, they're trying to tap into something more, and you see them conversing over a map of the planes themselves. They're trying to find out what really the fundamental forces of the universe are like. And you see that they have 2 children. And for a long time, their attempts to peer into this otherness of the universe is unsuccessful with things. And then you see them paying attention to their children one day, and one of the children draws a perfectly accurate map of Pandemonium, a plane that is pure chaos and can never be pinned down. It is looping and strange, but your parents are freaking out. They understand what this is. This is a map that is accurate at all times. It's wild. Something about their children is able to touch this stuff. The next snippet you see is more children, 5 in total. But there's something wrong because your parents, being who they are and being the fact that they are impatient at the best of times, they started using more magical means of making their children. There are potions and magical procedures for couples who cannot conceive normally, and this is expensive, but relatively well known on the Sword Coast that this sort of thing can happen. But they're not doing it normally. It's clear that they learned the spell and they used it for one of their children. And then they immediately started doing what they do, which is tinkering with it and changing it and imbuing some of the children with these extra planar energies. And one by one, they succumb to some sort of magical malady and they begin dying. The next snippet is of your parents making a choice. And you see that this is probably the moment where they stop caring, as the last of their children is being put into a stasis chamber, and she is the energies of the planes that were never meant to be imbued in a person have changed her radically. Both of your parents have red eyes from just constant weeping. But they're numb. You could see it in their faces. And they place her in, and then they begin to draw vials of blood from the sarcophagus. You don't think she's dead. You think they were able to freeze her at the moment before. Going onwards, you see a close-up of over your mother's shoulder of a clipboard, generation markers, generation 1, generation 5, generation 7. They are attempting different variations on the same spell, mixing it with the cloning spell, using the blood of the final viable child that they were able to have, the one that is still alive, the one that has the planar energy to sustain this sort of project. You get a snapshot of a furnace being stoked as generation after generation fails. 12, 25, 38, all the way up to generation 80, 1, 82, 83, 84, 85, all of them holding on just a little bit, but ultimately succumbing to the mutation and dying. Until 86. Your parents have been going methodically at this point. It's quite clear that they had no idea exactly where to start and where to go. So they've literally just been trial and erroring this the entire time. And on number 86, some variation of the spells that they used produce a young gnomish girl who has instinctual insight into how the planes operate. No mutations. Stable. Parents are overjoyed. You see snippets. They had to leave immediately. They had to go to Waterdeep. They have to speak to their patron who has been getting more and more impatient with this. You see a dark, dragonborn man sitting in a laboratory, well outfitted, although he could have no idea of how to use these objects around him. and him just sitting annoyed but generally pleased with the final breakthrough and giving them all the money they need to continue the project. 10, they say. They need 10. You see towers growing. You see children being created with the same blood of the iteration that survived. Batch candy bar. Batch candy bar survives and is installed in each of these towers, and for a time it works. And all 10 towers reach into the planes and begin to chart the movement and rotation of the bodies and multitudinous forms therein. Until one day they stop. It's important here to note that the planes, the towers themselves, being as they were powered by planar energies, and as far as your parents were aware, channeled by each of these children. The clocks themselves have not stopped. And that is where your image ends.
Ooh, that was a bit of a show. What did I miss?
You lit up and started shooting out legend into everywhere.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was... I don't understand a lot of that.
Vernon gets all like arrogant. He's like, see, I told you I could do anything. Why? What's with the long faces?
So that was a lot.
Where was the furnace?
The furnace was in the underground vault. You did not see a graveyard.
Of course not. Too much space. I think that Tim is having a hard time deciding. It's like the meme of the hand over the two buttons, and she doesn't know which one to press. And it's, should she be more concerned about the furnace of dead children, or about the fact that the planes have stopped moving? And she doesn't know which one should be taking over her brain right now. And so her brain is it's stopped.
At this point, Sparks walks up to you and casts Calm Emotions.
Well,
just like
okay.
he turns on like a big old furnace and it starts.
Not a furnace.
Oh no!
Not like that.
like a rumbly heat blanket.
Like a rumbly heat blanket. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the planes have stopped moving. So we should probably figure out what that's about. Like, that's kind of concerning, right?
That does seem like it could be bad.
I mean, as long as the sun keeps rising and setting, how is that a problem?
Well, how is that a problem?
The problem is that you're not exactly sure. This is some pretty high level, like you'd have to probably go to one of the many big universities on the Sword Coast and like really ask an expert on planar physics how this is exactly affecting things.
Well, I can do some, but like it feels like it's a bad thing, right?
I mean, sure, it would, I suppose, but if it's that big, perhaps it doesn't even affect us, really.
I mean, it does though, because like that's the whole reason why I was made.
You were born, Tim.
Not like I wasn't one of the first ones that they actually cared about.
Tim,
I mean, if
that's
you're worried about them caring about you, I think that ship has sailed.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's helpful.
Well, I'm sorry. They seem like terrible people. Why would you want them to care about you?
yeah, this is
Tim, we care about you.
I know. I think we should go and I don't know. I just feel like we should do something about it. Do you think they're even worth saving?
I mean, they were obviously trying to do something.
What if we saved it? Like, what if we pulled him out of the ethereal plane just so we could, like, punch him?
I mean, I'd be in favor of that.
Absolutely.
I also am in favor of this idea. They are tiny. I could probably kick them very far.
Yeah,
I know I got some words I'd like to say.
I guess I just, like, don't. I mean, for so long, I thought that I don't know, that their work was this, like, big stuff that, like, just didn't involve me, and that's why but I guess I was their work.
I think Henry's like gonna sidle up to you and like hold your hand.
Are you okay? Are you, like...
I don't have a lot of context for what's going on. That seemed like a lot.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably have to listen to some angsty teenage music in a bit. But
What did they let you listen to?
music wasn't a thing that they allowed in here, so I didn't have any musical stuff. Tim, you know that your parents almost demanded that you did listen to music.
But was it all, like, fucking, like, classical strings and, like, opera and shit?
Yeah,
Because it
they
helps,
very much.
it gets the, like,
yeah.
baby brain, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You could tell that they were doing iterations, right?
Yeah.
Like they maybe this one not having this book, maybe this one not having music, maybe this one eating only nutrition bars. You know.
Can
Yeah,
I,
her
like-
parents are fucking vault tech is what they are.
Yes, yes, thank
like
you. Thank you.
Evil bullshit.
Can I pull out my drum really quick and just be like, well, listen to this, and then just like start
give me
do
a
like performance kind of
check.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be a 14.
The 14. That's perfect. Here,
Mhm.
let me see if Rathgirther can join
A
in.
14-minute drum solo.
Drum solo while Rathgirther recounts one of her tales to an epic drum solo.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that just like slam poetry?
Slam poetry. Yeah.
It's,
I was gonna
yeah,
say he's
Rathgirther's
just
Slam
playing
15,
a bongo drum.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, this is, and it's certainly like the first stuff that Henry's ever really heard before, and he goes, "Oh, drums are
Cool, right?
Yeah."
Yeah, do you want to come with us? We have a place that you can stay. I feel like it might be good for you to be like around people.
I would
Listen,
not
I
like
spent a
to
couple
stay
decades
here.
by myself. So
Yeah, I don't want to stay here is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there other stuff up? I mean, Emery, I know you grabbed
No.
some of the notes. Is there other stuff up there?
I didn't see much.
I brought all of my important stuff down here a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I should go get some bricks. Hold on.
No, I'm not gonna let. No, you're not eating that.
but it's my favorite food.
Is it because it's the only food you've ever had?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that you should do that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you something better.
You're gonna be living with like
This-
this like super like bougie family. They're like super cool.
The
They have a
only thing
whole
I
house.
know, the only thing I know about the bourgeoisie is that they should be destroyed immediately, and the workers will rise.
Oh, too true. Too true.
Your
Okay.
parents gave you cool. Your parents gave you theory. Oh, I
Yeah.
wanted theory.
The nobility are leeches on society and should be destroyed.
Okay,
My
well,
parents wouldn't let me read political theory.
It's political? I thought it was just talking about more fantasy stuff.
No, see, my
Only
parents
till
made
it's
me
put in
become an
practice.
engineer, so like that's all I know is how to build stuff.
That's... Well, I mean, I know how to build a workers' movement. Does that count?
I'm sure we
love
can
Henry
make
so
use of
much.
that.
Oh, Henry.
Oh, Henry.
this will be a
Yeah.
fun conversation to have with my
Is-
uncle.
Are the nutrition bars made out of the bodies of the rich?
The rich?
All right. Does Henry know what taxes are? Very important question.
Henry
This is
very
why.
much
This is why
knows
Tim
what
didn't
taxes
know.
are.
This is why Tim didn't know what taxes are, because she wasn't
Mhm.
allowed to read theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, he immediately like stands up like the Manchurian candidate and just goes, taxes are generally how a society functions at its most base level when everyone interacts together and agrees with it in good faith. However, sometimes taxes, along with the laws of a given society, are basically just threats by the upper class on the lower class on how to... Yes?
Henry.
Mhm.
We're gonna go to sleep, and then in the morning, we're gonna take you to this like super cool. Think of it like a summer camp, which I've
Oh.
just heard about. I didn't like. Obviously, I like my life was a summer camp.
Mhm.
We're gonna take you to that, and then we're gonna go and do like our own thing. Is that okay with you? I want to make sure you have a
Yeah.
choice in this.
Well, I don't
Okay.
like it here. It's well known.
Yeah. I left my town. I lived in the woods for most.
Me
like,
too.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think all of us lived in a tower in the woods our whole lives. I think
Yeah.
that's common for us.
I mean, how much of that is just like gnomish sensibility, though? You know, it's so funny. I've always heard that gnomes had like these huge family trees, and I was like, oh man, I just have my parents and me. Turns out.
Oh, no. I think you know why your parents were the pariahs of the particular Butterball family line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, let's go ahead and give everybody a long rest. Huh? Let's just give everybody a treat for that. There was no real damage taken, more like emotional damage taken, and so unfortunately, long rest kind of doesn't really fix that, but you know, it does a little. Consider emotional damage like exhaustion, and you know, every once in a while, long rest will clear a point of exhaustion.
I don't know what you're talking
If
about. I
you're
took 20
feeling sad,
damage.
drink water, eat some food, take a nap. If that doesn't fix it, then yes, you are super sad and you need to do more than that. But always take care of yourself. Remember what Senshi would tell you. Eat a full meal, get proper rest, exercise. It sucks, but it works. And okay. In the morning, you folks can definitely try to go out. If you're trying to just get back to where your uncle's place is, we can just say you folks do that. The forest is itself a danger. And so what I'm going to need is I'm going to need at least one of you, whoever's leading, make me a survival check. Pardon me.
Should probably not be me. I have a +0 survival.
That's
I
Griffin
have
has
a
+1.
+3.
That
have a
makes
+2.
you the best.
Tim is the wisest. Jesus Christ. Can Sparks help? Can Sparks give me advantage?
Yes, Sparks can give you
Sparks
advantage.
is a good boy.
Pathfinding mode.
Tim, no.
Well, you said you
Yeah.
have advantage, so.
I rolled a 2 and a 3 for a
Oh.
total of
Timothy,
6.
Timothy, no.
This is why you don't let the child with emotional damage lead the party through the dangerous magic woods.
Should I play a magical drum solo throughout so that we could add some bardic inspiration to this?
What if it's
Would that
what
help?
if instead of
I
me
don't
being the
know.
lead, what if Sparks is the lead? Because he has a better.
I'm afraid that roll is going to have to stand. At some point while you're all tromping through the woods, you realize you're a little lost. And up ahead, you hear the sounds of people talking just normally, not doing anything like that. They're talking about normal, like you can't really tell what they're talking about, but it's a normal conversation, no raised voices, nothing like that. They're just other people. You know that the High Forest has several big hunting areas. You know that it's not uncommon to come across other adventurers here. Do you continue through the trees? They're very close by.
Okay.
You come through the trees, and for a moment, all the hairs on all of your arms and legs all stick up at once. And you realize that you are perhaps not quite where you were before. You come out into a well-stocked pavilion. Come across a circus.
Oh.
Oh, that's normal to find in the middle of the woods.
Oh, I love a circus.
Oh.
Of course you do.
And
I myself am a bit of a freak.
let's dig into that a little bit later.
Crabman, you see.
Let's see here. Two things you all notice immediately as you walk towards what appears to be a ticket style that is manned by what appears to be a Furbolg man, sitting there and letting a stream of people in of all types and varieties wearing brightly colored clothing. You rub your eyes a little bit because this place seems a little brighter than usual all of a sudden. And this is when two things happen. First, you realize that Maldris is no longer with the party. And the second you realize is that Henry is no longer with the party.
I turn around. Did we
Feywild
lose
Circus.
them?
And that's where we're going to leave it. For this
Oh,
month.
fuck off!
Amazing. 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 Love that.
Great.
Welcome to the circus. We got fun and games.
This will be
I
so
hope-
normal. I'm sure that nothing bad will happen.
Yeah, it seems all on the up and up to me.
God, I hope. I'm so glad that these things keep lining up. Like, you could have rolled really well, and then I would have had to come up with another reason why you were in the circus. But now I don't have to, because dice tell a story sometimes, and it's great.
So true.
What we're going to do, folks, is we are going to take a very quick break, probably about 5-10 minutes, perhaps, and we are going to come right back for our table talk section. So please have your questions ready, and when we get back, I'll tell you how you can ask them, and we will try to answer them to the best of our ability. Don't go anywhere, but do get up, take a stretch, grab a drink, grab some snacks, and get ready for a little bit more behind the scenes. Don't go anywhere.